Alright guys, it's been a while, but I'm back with Game 4 of Northern Warlords GT. So this is Sunday morning. I went home relatively early. I wanted to get back home, see my kids, see my missus, just chill out, try and shake off the drunken haze I'd built up through the day. So I had a pretty early night, pretty chilled, pretty laid back. Nothing to get excited about. Rock up on Sunday morning and find out I'm against vampire counts, which is pretty cool. So don't often play vampires, and they're always an interesting opponent. You know, you can see a whole variety of different builds. A little bit of a story before going into this game is my opponent was in a really foul mood, and it was completely, nothing against the guy for it. He came in on the Sunday morning and realised one of his Vargeists had been, he thought, stolen and taken. So understandably, he was in a pretty foul mood. He was literally almost at the point of proxying a toilet roll as a Vargeist until the missing Vargeist was found and handed in, which was awesome. And almost instantaneously, at the click of a fingers, my opponent was just like completely different person, totally happy, full on gentleman, and we got going. So my level 2 rolled up the Maw and Spine Marrow. I think I rolled up. The only reason why I would have kept them more, because I think I rolled up the leadership test spell the Ogres have, which is absolutely garbage. The only one that's just as bad is the Maw, but at least the Maw might be useful to cast. My opponent is not automatically immune to one spell. Level 4 got a pretty good set. He got Chain Lightning, Thunderbolt, Blizzard, and Harmonic Convergence. My opponent was rocking some awesome vampires list, really different. We'll see it in a minute. So this is my deployment. I got to choose the deployment, and just because I hadn't actually played it at any point yet, I went for the diagonal. I'd played normal, I'd played Battle for the Pass, so I was like, let's make it the sort of triple set, and we'll go for the third one. So I went in this back corner, deployed as you can see. Unit of 8 bulls on the left with the level 2 and the BSB in there, BSB on the right hand corner. Next to them to the right is my unit of 7 Iron Guts, the Slaughtermaster in there in the front right corner. And then to the right of them is my 2 units of 6 Lead Belchers in the woods, which I think I rolled for, and it turned out to be... In fact, no, we didn't roll for it because the way the tournament was set up was all terrain was automatically mundane, no matter what. So it's just the regular forest. And then right back in the back corner, staying away from everything, is the 2 Iron Blasters. Up to the sort of top right-ish is a Saber Tusk, more than 6 inches away from everything, same as normal. And the same on the left-hand side, just off shot, there is the other Saber Tusk. My opponent's deployment then, he has a unit of 3 Vargeists. I think they're definitely Vargeists, right? Not Vargulfs. Yeah, Vargeist sounds right. Got 3 Vargeists. To the right of them is 2 Fellbats. In front of the Vargeist there's a unit of 8 Crypt Horrors, which is pretty... A lot of this army I don't want to be in combat with because it goes before me. It's poisoned, lots of attacks, all the things Ogres don't like, and this army is full of them. So it's actually quite a frightening army for me to go against. To the left of the Crypt Horrors was a unit of 25 or I think 30. How deep's that unit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About 35 skeletons, something like that. Somewhere between 30 and 40 skeletons. And in there is a BSB of some description. I think it's a White King, a level 4 Vampire Lord, and there's a Necromancer in there as well. To the left of them is a small unit of zombies with another Necro in. To the left of that, in the forest there's a unit of, I think it's 30, or it might have been 40 Crypt Ghouls. Can't remember if it was 30 or 40. I think it was 30. And then to the left of them is a unit of 5 Direwolves. Somewhere around there as well, I can't see him in this picture. One of you guys might have a better eye than I can. There's a level 2 vampire on a steed knocking around somewhere. He'll reveal himself later on in the pictures. And then out here on the left hand side, the camera suddenly decides to start taking good pictures, is a unit of 6 Vargeists, which is a very terrifying unit to face when you are Ogres. So, Vampires get the first turn, and he moves his up like this, so he's out of everyone's charge arc, he's got a decent movement, Actually, pretty short charges for him in the next turn. And the rest of the ensemble just rumbles forward. You notice there, just to the right of his skeleton unit, there is the level 2 and a horse that I was talking about, or this the Bard of Nightmare. Oh, it's some kind of steed. And basically what he's doing is he's bunkering everything up behind this hill. The tournament pack we were using was using ETC terrain rules, so the hill's infinitely high and block line of sight. So he's protecting himself from the cannons there, but what he's actually done is he's blocked his death caster from actually doing anything of note. All these death snipes need line of sight because of the direct damage. So I was quite happy that I think he gave the Iron Blasters far too much credit in this game. It was the only thing I can really knock my opponent for. He was much too afraid of the Iron Blasters. So he looks like that, shambling forward. The Hounds are there because they did the Vanguard and then push forward again. It's going to come back really to bite him later on in the game, I think. Something happens here. I think this is just him raising some zombies. I didn't really care about that, so I let it go. And this is Ogre turn 1, so I didn't really do anything. The bulls on the left just shuffle around. If the Vargeists do make that charge, then I want it in the front. But it's a really long charge. I think I gave him like 10. I think he needs like a 10 to charge there. And you notice how the cat is behind the house, just hiding there. The Sabertooth is actually a lot closer to the bulls than the Vargeist and the bulls are. So if he fails the frenzy test, he has to charge the Sabertusk. He's going to kill the Sabertusk over and hit the house, and then I'm in the flank with the bulls. So setting up there for that Leadership 7 frenzy test. If he fails, I can really clean up those Vargeists really easily. Everything else just shuffles around. The angles look like they're on a weird angle, but they are such so that my Slaughtermaster can see both pretty much everything that you see in the picture there, but also with his line of sight he can see the Vargeist off to the left. I'm going to try and Thunderbolt them and kill one or two with a Thunderbolt. And the Iron Blasters are both turned to the left to shoot at the bigger unit, because obviously that's the one I'm more afraid of. Sorry for the blurry photo, guys. The Lead Belchers just back up, giving him like 9 and 10 inch charges. I'm going to get some rounds of shooting off. And I'm actually going to not shoot the Direwolves this turn, because where they are right now, they're blocking a whole lot of charges, which is fantastic. Sabertusk Rab in the top right has just swung up at the line of sight of everything, so later on in the game I can march up and stand in the front of something. Magic phase, I kill one Vargeist as expected. I actually think no, this is the shooting phase. So one of the cannons kills a Vargeist and the other one misfires and blows its cannon up, I think. Shooting phase, both lead belchers open up on the crypt horrors. No line of sight because the hills are infinitely high, so by default the lead belchers can see over the dogs. Other lead belchers have no line of sight blockage as anyway. I'm going to go and take down 2 and do a couple more wounds, I think. Pretty good round of shooting from the lead belchers. So Vampire Count's turn 2, he goes up and he charges the Direwolves into the lead belchers, which I'm absolutely fine with. He's going to do nothing. I'm going to cream the Hounds and then get to reform. So I was absolutely happy with that. Felbats move up. I think they're going to try and go for the Iron Blasters, but what he's not realised is he's left me with an easy charge to take off the Felbats. Should charge him in the front and pick him up. Vargeist on top right there, fly out my line of sight, but that's fine because I can just swift reform and shoot them next turn anyway. Everything else flies up, and he makes a bit of a mistake with the everything else just moves up as such. That zombie unit is growing and growing and growing. I think I'm just letting him raise zombies every time. I don't really care about that, and I'm stopping his more potent damage spells. The Vargeists do pass their frenzy test. Don't want to take the charge. Don't risk failing the charge. Again, he's being really, really defensive with them. I'm really scared of that unit. He should really be cramming it down my throat a lot more than he is. But I'm kind of boxing him out quite well, so I'm quite pleased with my play on the left here, making him fall back with his Vargeists. I'll take, as long as they're there and not pushing down my throat more, I'm happy with that. something happens here. I think it's a spell of some description. It will be because he's got no shooting. So one of his spells goes off. I think it was the dirt damage one from the Lore of Vampires. I forget what it's called. Wind of Undeath or something like that. Does some wounds to the lead belches, kills a guy and puts another wound on, or another 2 wounds. Yeah, another 2 wounds because I count upwards. That's pretty rough. And in the combat phase, the dogs do a single wound, and then I just completely kill them all. I don't even think they crumble, I just kill them all. Which is good, because now I've got 11 lead belches free to shoot at that level 2 and just completely pick him up, which is great. So Ogre's turn 2 then. I'll take a bit of a gamble and get a bit greedy. I've turned 1 unit of lead belches to face the Vargeists, just taking -1 for skirmishes, so I'm hitting on 5s, and then I use the unit of 6 and reform them to face the level 2 on a steed. They're going to be hitting on 4s because they've got no penalties there. So I'm getting a little bit greedy, and I'm going to try and take out both these targets. If I do, I'm going to be in a really strong position. If I don't and I've doubled down, then I'm kind of not screwed, but I'm going to be in a bad way. See in the bottom of the picture, I'm not too sure why I didn't charge the Iron Blaster into the front of the Fellbats. I must not have been able to see, but I'm pretty sure I could. But if I could have, I would have charged them. So yeah, I must not have been able to see them. But you see, that's the one that's misfired and lost its cannon. Iron Guts just turn to face everything coming their way. You see them in the top of the picture there. The Gorges also come on. I don't know if I've got it wrong. And the bulls here basically just keeping as far away from those Vargeists as possible. Again, I'm baiting him with the cat. So if he fails his frenzy test, he's going to charge me in the front and over and way away, and I don't have to worry him, and then I can just push around and deal with those ghouls. Go ahead, bubble convergence out, which is going to help the shooting fantastically. So my gamble might actually pay off here a little bit better than I thought, but it's still down to dice. The lead belches are so hit and miss. One good roll, you know, they move mountains. One bad roll, and it's like a duck fart. They just do nothing. And it does pay off. So the shooting phase, the lead belches on the right absolutely butcher the Vargeists. They ended up doing something like 17 wounds. Man, they absolutely roared like gods. 5d6 shots, hitting on 5s. I just tore them apart. Absolutely fantastic show from the lead belches on the right. The lead belches in the centre. Still killed the vampire, but it was close. I did something like 5 wounds. After all said and done, he had a 4 up and killed him. He just took 2 wounds or 3 wounds or however many it was it took to kill him. He died. He just couldn't make the saves. So he's not crumbling, but I cleared out 2 big threats, and I'm in a much stronger position now than I was previously. My gamble paid off. It's really helped. So on this side, Vampire's turn 3. He goes ahead, and I think he actually declared the charge anyway, because when I come to measure it, I fucked up massively. I fucked up so bad. The Saber-Tusk I was trying to redirect away with was showing his flank, which would have let him charge the Saber-Tusk in the flank, easily kill the Saber-Tusk, and then get a really short overrun of like 7 or 8 inches into my bull unit, and I really didn't want that happening. So what I did is I just fled with the Saber-Tusk. Saber-Tusk isn't going to rally, he's going to run right off the board, but that's pulled him so much closer now. And when I get my impact hits, I will take that charge. I will happily take the charge if I get impact hits. I do not want the combat if he gets to charge me and I don't get impact hits. So, sacrifice the Saber-Tusk. He's not going to rally because I can't use the BSB or the General, but it's a worthy sacrifice to pull these Vargeists in for a better charge. So, I don't know if I mentioned it in the previous picture, but the Saber-Tusk went up to chaff up his Crypt Horrors from charging my lead belches in the flank. So they go ahead and take that charge. It pulls them around, facing towards the centre of the board, and he goes ahead and throws the skeletons into the flank as well. Absolutely overkill, didn't need to do it, and you're going to see in a minute that this is going to cost him. It's going to cost him the game. Bit of a spoiler there, but yeah, it's going to cost him the game, this move, and you'll see why coming up. Goes ahead and gets Van Hels out. He forgets to cast it in a bubble. I wanted to go back and you know, let him just say, well, you were probably going to cast it in a bubble anyway, just do it. But then, you know, I didn't try and dispel it, blah blah blah. It was sort of one of these things where too much stuff had gone past and happened. So you know, he was a gentleman and said, yeah, look, I forgot to say. So Van Helsing's just on the skeletons. It's not out in a bubble. Goes ahead, kills the dog and overruns. Now you'll see in the next picture. Let's see if anyone spots it. But this is just costing the game. Let's see. 10 points whoever gets it. Ogre turn 3. Go ahead and take the charge. And again, Ogre charge of all things. That's going to be 4d3 at strength 5 and d3 at strength 6. Absolutely fantastic. Now I'm rocking here. That unit's gone, and I'm going to clear up this left flank easy. And look at that. Well, Iron Guts gets a charge in through that gap into the flank, so I get to move forward, take my 190-degree wheel, and push in through the gap against the flank of his skeletons. Remember, in there is his general, his BSB, another Necro. That's basically his army is that unit. And yeah, I took that charge. When he overran from killing the Sabertusk, my eyes just lit up. It was amazing. I didn't want to put the lead belches into the front, and graciously my opponent said, no, just put them in, it's more attacks, and you're going to pin the vamp in place, and make him kill lead belches, not Iron Guts. And it was absolutely sound advice. So, you know, kudos to my opponent for pointing out to me that it would be a stupid idea to not charge them in. To get the Iron Guts in, I had to charge the Iron Blaster here to make the bats contract, give me a bit more space. So this guy into the flank of there. Yeah, he's not going to kill me. I'm not going to kill him, but I'm unbreakable. He's unbreakable. I'm just going to pin him in place. Magic phase. Ice Shard Blizzard goes off on the skeletons, and Harmonic Convergence goes out in a bubble. So those skeletons are fucked. Combat here. I do something like 12 wounds or 11 wounds just from impact hits. There's like one Vargeist left. He doesn't do any wounds. Well, also he does a single wound, and then the unit just crumbles. Absolutely fantastic work from the Sabertusk fleeing and pulling those Vargeists out. It actually worked in my favour really, really well. And then this is the end of the game, last photo. So the Vamp Lord does a number on the lead belches. He does like 9 wounds to the lead belches. White King does some wounds. My Slaughtermaster is locked in a challenge with his champion, but I kill him for like 4 overkill. I go ahead and I win combat by like 26. So the Iron Guts with Harmonic Convergence just absolutely wreck the skeletons in the flank. The lead belches throw some more wounds in there, do the impact hits, everything stomps. I win combat by 26, crumble the unit, crumble the White King, crumble the Necro, crumble the Vampire Lord, and then at this point my opponent just gives up. Which I actually thought was a mistake, because those Crypt Ghouls on the left are a very terrifying unit for my Iron Guts. All those poison attacks going before me, and look where my Iron Guts are. Where am I gonna go? I'm gonna flee. I'm gonna flee off the board. You know, I can't get away from him. I could have maybe tried to overrun forwards. You know, like reform the lead belches first in a weird way to get them out of the way. I don't know. I was in a bad position here. I went for the juggler and I got it, but it was going to cost me. My opponent didn't take advantage of it. He kind of threw in the towel. He was having a bit of a bum game. The dice weren't going his way. I was playing a tight game. I didn't give him anything. He took it on the chin though. He was very gracious in defeat. Lovely guy. But yeah, it was a big win for the Ogres, because, you know, where in tournaments like this, when your opponent concedes, you get max points. So that's what I took into round 5, was an absolute massacre victory. So looking strong for the Ogres, won 4, lost 1, going into the last 2 games. Really think I can push for a podium at this point. You know, 2 more big wins on the final day. I could have a strong showing. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you're enjoying the tournament so far. I'll get back to you at some point with game 5, where I drop in against another Skaven player. So a bit of a spoiler there. It's going to be against Skaven in the next game on table 7 or table 8. Yeah, table 8, I think. After my defeat on table 6, I dropped down to this, played this one on table 19, and now back up to table 8 in round 5. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to like the video, drop a comment, same old business, and if you like what you're watching, don't forget to subscribe and to see more content and keep me going, keep me motivated. Alright guys, cheers, peace out, I'm done.